Welcome, dear students. Today we have another important topic, that is how to distinguish between fact and opinion. As we are discussing reading skills, it becomes quite important for a reader to have the ability to differentiate fact from opinion, so as he may not make a wrong interpretation, a wrong conclusion or statement about the piece of writing that he is studying. So let's look at how fact is different from opinion. First, this allows you to judge for yourself the validity of ideas of another person. If you have this skill to distinguish between fact and opinion, you will not be deceived by the other person's argument. But if you cannot recognize fact from opinion, it is very likely you will take the opinion as fact and develop your own opinions on the basis of this wrong understanding. So this ability to differentiate between the two is necessary and very basic. So if we compare fact and opinion, we can see that fact is about things known for certain to have happened, things which have certainly happened. There is no doubt about their occurrence. Secondly, things known for certain to be true. There is no doubt about their truth. Nobody questions their truth. And thirdly, things known for certain to exist. They certainly exist. There is no disagreement on that. So these are three ways to identify fact. So if anything has this kind of properties, it is certainly part of history, it has happened, or there is no doubt about its truth, or there is no doubt about its existence, we call it fact. On the other hand, we have opinion, and opinions are things believed to have happened. A person or some people believe that this has happened, but it is not universally acknowledged. Things, secondly, believed to be true, which people or a certain section of society believe as true. Thirdly, things believed to exist. So if you notice, in fact, I have used the word known, and in opinion, belief. Although beliefs are not always against knowledge, but sometimes they are. So if something is with these characteristics, so looking at those properties, we will categorize it as fact or opinion. So as we discuss it further, you will be able to understand the difference better. Now, we actually use a combination of facts and opinions in our writings. So whenever you come across a piece of writing, it is not always full of facts or opinions. It is a mixture of both. Now, obviously, whenever a person writes, he brings in his own opinions in that piece of writing. So, how should we deal with those opinions of the writer? Should we accept them as true or should we reject them as false because they are not facts? So, we have to measure and decide on the validity of those opinions, and the criterion is that if that opinion is supported by facts or other type of evidence, we will accept it as true. But remember, this evidence must be verifiable. Other people should be able to test the validity of that opinion through different means. So, if it cannot be tested and verified, this opinion will not be accepted as true. It might be, something that needs more research, more debate, more knowledge, more information. But if it is not testifiable and verifiable, it is likely to be just an opinion which cannot be accepted as true or cannot be used as the basis of more knowledge. It is just one person's perspective. It might be true, it might not be. Depends on how it is supported by facts or other evidence or not. And similarly, an opinion is easily debatable. Now, actually, I just want to highlight one thing here, that although opinions are supported by facts or other evidence which can be verified, and fact is something that apparently cannot be questioned, cannot be challenged, but there is a difference between a fact that is absolutely true and a fact that is questionable. So, that is why, in order to differentiate between opinion and a fact that might receive disagreement from certain sections of society, I have added the word easily debatable, that a person's opinion can be questioned, can be challenged by other people. So, this is one person's perspective. By looking at the evidence, we might find out that the person was somehow deceived. He did not draw a sound conclusion, or his opinion is not based on credible evidence. On the other hand, even what we call fact, in some changes is questioned and changes over a period of time. So, this is true of scientific fact, that certain facts were established in an age, but afterwards people discovered more evidence that forced them, that convinced them to argue against the already established scientific fact. So, this has been happening for centuries. As we know about the scientific fact about, the motion of the earth and revolution of the skies. So, earlier it was believed that the earth is, stagnant, motionless. and the other, the sun is revolving around it. But now we have an opposite conclusion, scientific fact. So it has changed. So even, but not always, in some cases even scientific facts can be challenged, and obviously opinion can always be challenged. So this is the difference between the two. Opinion is easily debatable, it can easily be thwarted by a stronger argument. Here let me add another useful technique for those readers who read more complex texts. So when you are reading a non-fiction text, because applying this strategy to fiction is difficult, because fiction is a world, an imaginary world created by the writer. This is the production of his imagination. Obviously it is somehow inspired by true events and life in general, but on the whole it is created by the writer. So when you are dealing with non-fiction, for instance you are reading books on medicine, seek out contradictory statements. Try to look for those statements which somehow oppose the writer's earlier statement. Now if you locate these contradictory statements, they serve as red flags. They alert you, signaling that what is being presented as fact might actually be a half truth or opinion. So the writer not having substantial evidence to back up his claim is just trying to manipulate the understanding of the reader by by presenting an argument as fact that is actually not a fact. So you have to read carefully, smartly, and spot the contradictory statements and be able to save yourself from confusion and intellectual deception. So if you find these contradictory statements, you will be in a position to claim that the writer's claim of presentation of facts is not true. Rather, and this happens on everyday basis, in everyday life. When we do not have, despite knowing that we do not have enough evidence to reinforce and strengthen our viewpoint, we try to deceive the other person through different techniques. So as a reader, you cannot afford to be deceived, because at the end of your reading you will be drawing conclusions. So you should not be a naive reader who can easily be manipulated and made to believe anything. So you have to read carefully and identify any contradictory statements, and then you can argue that what the writer actually declares as fact is just a half truth. He is just showing you one side of the picture. So if you can somehow notice this in the piece of writing that you are studying, you would not be deceived. So the presence of these contradictory statements means that the writer does not have enough evidence to declare certain statements as facts. Rather, they are half truths and meant to deceive the reader, or they are just the writer's opinion at best. So, this is all about the difference between fact and opinion. Try to keep these things in mind while you are reading different pieces of writing, and you will find yourself in a more confident position to draw your conclusions and be sure about the validity of your argument. Thank you very much.